Prelude. Silhouetted by the setting sun, the Senachie lifted both arms toward the sky and addressed the gathering. Long ago, when I was younger, and most of you were not yet born, there was a need for great warriors in the world. Warfare burned the land of Alba from south to north and west to east. Blood soured the rivers, and broken bones salted the fields. Flames from burning townships glimmered on every horizon, while the soot of smoke caught in the throats of those men and women who survived the slaughter. He looked over his audience, allowing the tension to grow, although he knew that they had heard this story 100 times before. It was the dearth of grace, with all the sweetness of nature buried in terror's black grave, and the wind singing a sad lament for the departed joys of life and hope. The land screamed for peace. After years of horror, when crows feasted on the corpses that lay unburied in the glens, kings and lords gathered to seek solace from the constant devastation. There were weeks and months of talk, while the piles of dead rose as high as the length of a spear from end to end of the land, until eventually the kings came to a decision. Marriage would terminate the fighting between the Northmen and the people of Alba. The daughter of the king of Alba would marry the son of the queen of the Norse, and the firstborn would rule both lands in perpetual peace. The warriors of the north and those of Alba would lay down their arms and take up the plough and fishing net instead, and the people of both realms agreed through mutual exhaustion. The kings and lords disbanded their forces and burned their battleships. Rather than immense armies fighting on land and fleets of dragon ships ravaging coasts and islands, the people became peace-loving. Olaf, prince of the Norse, and Ellen, the princess of Alba, met and married, and as is the way with nature, the princess became with child. As people grew used to the strange ways of peace, the princess blossomed and bloomed, and when her time was due, the royals and nobility gathered. Midwives and wise women were summoned from Alba and the Northlands to attend the birth. Lords and councillors met in the royal palace, in the shadow of the great white mountains of the north, and the nations held their breath to await their new ruler. "It's a boy," came the news, and then, "No, it's a girl." And then, "It is both a boy and a girl. We have twins." And such was the confusion that not even the wisest of the wise women, or the most experienced of the midwives, could tell which of the two babies was the firstborn. They argued and debated and threw the bones to decide, until nature intervened and sent an eclipse that spread darkness across the world. When it cleared, the problem was solved, for the girl child lay dead in her cot, and the boy child squalled in health and vitality. There were some who said that the Dina Shi, the people of peace, the fairy folk whose name should only be mentioned in a whisper, if at all, had spirited the real princess away. The people said the Dina Shi had substituted a changeling in her place, but there are always some who blame the people of peace for everything they wish had not happened. With no rivals, the prince sat secure on his throne and spread peace around his twin kingdoms of Northland and Alba. He became the High King, with chiefs and lords beneath him, and since he took the throne, there has been no blood spilt in Alba or the Northlands. The Senachie lowered his hands exactly as the sun sunk beneath the horizon. Only the surge and suck of surf sweeping the shingle shore of the island known as Dachech spoiled the silence. Sitting at the front of the audience, between her mother and old Angus, Melcorka listened with her mouth open and her eyes wide. The Senachie allowed the peace of the night to settle upon them before he continued.